In the offseason, the Atlanta Hawks cut ties with a player they gave up a ton of assets for in the 2022 offseason when they sent DeJounte Murray to the New Orleans Pelicans for 2 future draft picks, Larry Nance Jr., and the player that has been breaking out this year, Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels was a top 10 pick in the 2022 draft, but he was always behind a plethora of guards in New Orleans and never had the opportunity to shine, especially on the offensive end. Now, Dyson Daniels was always going to be somebody that was going to take a little bit of time to develop that aspect of his game, but he was looked at as a defensive ready prospect. And Daniels this year, seeing a career high in minutes per game, has been breaking out for the Atlanta Hawks and looks like the exact player they need next to Trae Young in that backcourt for the foreseeable future. Daniels this year is averaging career highs across the board. He's averaging 14 points per game. He's playing 33 minutes a night, shooting 47% from the field. He's averaging 4.3 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and oh yeah, is leading the NBA in steals per game with 3.6. He has 5 games this year with more than 4 steals a night, and 4 this year more than 5 steals a night. No other player in this league has had multiple 5-steal games this season, and Daniels has 4 of them. And last night, the Hawks were the biggest underdog win all year long when they were 14.5-point underdogs to the Boston Celtics on the road with no Trae Young, and Dyson Daniels was maybe the biggest reason why they pulled off the upset. Immediately, one of the first plays of the game, him and Jalen Johnson do a great job on the defensive end. He's able to control the ball and tip it out of bounds, keeps it in bounds, and then he's able to get it back from Derek White, find the open swingman Wallace, who's going to kick it over to Jalen Johnson in the corner, and he gets a great look to get the first bucket of the night, and that all came back from what Daniels and Johnson did on the defensive end the possession prior. Daniels also did a great job making Jason Tatum's life a little bit harder. He's able to get on the ball with his hands consistently and able to knock it out early in the first quarter as well. Daniels does a good job getting back on defense, realizing the opportunity where he can catch Jaylen Brown lacking. He's going to reach out behind him and get the steal here, and he was just consistently making these plays all night long. How about this play from Dyson Daniels where he's going to catch Sam Hauser being pretty lazy with this pass, and he's going to use his long wingspan to knock it down the end of the floor, which is going to result in an easy layup. This play late in the fourth quarter, Dyson Daniels is going to consistently swat the ball from Jaylen Brown. He's going to try to get it into the post, and Daniels does a great job getting a hand on it. And there's also great plays that he can make offensively as well. Getting the screen here for Okongwu, he's able to use his strides to get in and his long wingspan to finish that shot over Peyton Pritchard. He also does a great job contesting this Jason Tatum step back jumper. The Hawks are able to receive the long rebound after it gets bounced around a little bit. Jalen Johnson's able to see Dyson Daniels running up and down the floor, and he's able to get that easy dunk to tie the game. Daniels' three-point shot has been inconsistent this year, but we are seeing the flashes that we didn't see as much last year. This is off the screen from Onyeka Okongwu, and the catch and shoot looks perfect there to tie this game up once again. And Daniels can also operate as a roller as well. This time he's going to be setting the screen for Keaton Wallace. He's going to be able to roll after Jaylen Brown picks up on him, and he's going to be able to finish the contact layup with Al Horford knocking him to the ground. All in all, Dyson Daniels has been such a good player on both ends of the floor this year, and like I said in the beginning of the video, this is exactly what the Atlanta Hawks need to pair around Trae Young. They've done multiple experiments with Kevin Huerter, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and DeJounte Murray, and all those guys haven't been great defenders next to Trae Young in their careers. So Dyson Daniels gives Atlanta an option to have somebody that can complement Trae Young defensively, and that's where they can optimize this backcourt to its fullest potential. You add in Zachary Sachet's defensive potential, as well as Jalen Johnson's athleticism and wingspan. This could be a really good defensive trio around Trae Young. Between 2 games, Dyson Daniels has held Jason Tatum to just 42% shooting on 14 shots and has done a great job guarding one of the best versatile wing scorers in the whole NBA. Daniels made Jalen Brunson's life a mess as well when he held them to just 37% on 8 shots a night, picking him up for 48 possessions, and that catapulted the Hawks to upsetting the Knicks the other night. He also held Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to 36%, 4 of 11 shooting when he matched up against him when the Hawks took on the Thunder. He's also leading the NBA by a decent margin in deflections per game, averaging 7.6 a night. The next leader is Nikola Jokic at 4.5 a night. It's actually unreal how Dyson Daniels has emerged into himself to being in the most improved player talks, as well as defensive player of the year talks as well. It's reminding me a lot of what Herb Jones did last year for the Pelicans, and Daniels, coming from that pipeline in New Orleans as well, is definitely going to be on all defensive team talks all year long. And Daniels is just 21 years old as well. He's going to build up the confidence with his outside shot, which I believe is going to be a consistent factor for him, and he's going to turn into this 3-and-D beast next to Trae Young going forward. And the Hawks Hawks overall as a team this year haven't been a good defensive squad, but when Dyson Daniels is on the floor, they are 1.3 points better as a team overall, and it's because of the impact that he's making on the defensive end. So I mentioned that they have Shea, Jalen Johnson, and Dyson Daniels as this trio can work around Trae Young. If you can keep developing Onyeka Okongwu to be a good enough rim protector and an athletic lob threat, you have the foundation of a good long-term starting five in Atlanta. And with the NBA ever so changing, players are coming and going on teams every year. It is nice to have the chemistry of a starting five that is going to be there year in and year out. And all four of these players having the chemistry with Trae Young could only help them more on the offensive end of the floor, and it could make Atlanta an exciting team going forward. This year was always going to be a feel-out year for Atlanta. They didn't own their first-round pick from the DeJounte Murray trade, so they had no incentive to tank. This team wants to be competitive, so they give San Antonio not a top 10 pick, and you want to figure out what you got, and you're figuring out that you have a defensive beast in Dyson Daniels next to Trae Young. And then you add in the Lakers pick that you got in this year's draft from the Pelicans, and then a future Pelicans swap that you got also in that trade. And in Larry Nance, who's been giving you some good big man minutes as well. And this is looking like a good trade already for the Atlanta Hawks, and something they needed to do. They needed to realize it was a sunk cost to have DeJounte Murray on their team. Their ceiling with him and Trae Young in that backcourt wasn't going to be where they thought it was going to be when they acquired him from San Antonio. He hasn't really been the same player, and they realized it was time to cut ties, and they made the right move. Now, this team really isn't going to be able to do much in free agency with cap space directly, since they just re-signed Jalen Johnson. Trae Young is getting paid a ton of money. Same with DeAndre Hunter and Bogdan Bogdanovic for now, but you could definitely think about moving Bogey if a team wants to get his high volume shooting at the trade deadline. You want to see what you can get out of Kobe Buffkin, Vic Krejci, and David Roddy in the second half of the season, and then you're going to most likely have 2 first-round picks in this draft. You're getting the Lakers first rounder no matter what, which you hope is going to be a top 20 pick, and then as long as the Sacramento Kings are not a bottom 10 team in the draft lottery, you're going to be getting their first-round pick as well. So there's a really good chance you're going to get 2 top 20 picks, and this is the draft to do so, where they could look to add another big. Maybe it's a Kaman Maliwatch from Duke. Maybe they want to get a wing, somebody like a Trae Johnson from Texas who's been great, or a Will Riley from Illinois, or maybe you just want a playmaking ball handler as well. That could be like Igor Demon from BYU, or Kasperi Shakushanis from Illinois as well. So there's a lot of different routes that this Atlanta team can go during the future, and I feel like having this set backcourt can really allow you to focus on different aspects of your team building. And you add in a good head coach in Quinn Snyder, we could definitely see Atlanta reach their fullest peak. Maybe something they thought was going to happen in 2021 when they ended up thinking they were better than they really were because of the upset that they were able to achieve when they beat Philadelphia in round 2 in the 2021 playoffs. They went all in on a couple different pieces, and they realized they weren't as good as a team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2021. So I think we're seeing Atlanta realize this, come full circle. They're going to be competitive in games this season. They're going to score a lot of points. As a whole, their team isn't going to be great defensively, but we are going to see some great individual performances, especially from some of these wings. So that's going to be for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know what you think about Dyson Daniels this year for the Atlanta Hawks. And if you want to see any other player-driven videos as well, please let me know down below. Drop a thumbs up if you guys do enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.